What's good, y'all? It's kennykamz here. We are officially at 1,000 subscribers. I know to a lot of people that might not seem like a lot, but on the channel that I've literally done all by myself, I've had no marketing or promotion on it. Just putting out videos. It's an accomplishment for me. It was one of those goals that I set when I first started the channel. If you didn't know, like 1,000, that's when you can get monetized. So like, it was now it can actually become a part-time job, which is cool. But I wanted to talk about a few things. Chicago specifically. So I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have very close ties with Chicago. In my like late college years, late mid-20s, so post-college, I was working music-wise with some artists in Chicago. And I got a better sense of what the gang culture that we see, like the Trap Lord Ross, that I mentioned a lot, but he did a really good job, like kind of documenting all of this. I think he did a better job than academics because it came from a different angle than academics. Academics was hyping it. Granted, that was during when it was all happening. But I think Trap Lord Ross more explains the story. It's like more narrative form. But Chicago is a city that has so much corruption. So much corruption. And I'm sorry about that, y'all. I think I figured out what it is now. Chicago is a city with so much corruption in the politicians, and then if you watch the show The Wire is basically Chicago, from top to bottom of how it works. So, and that's in every major city. So, it's not just a Chicago thing, but in Chicago it's exasperated because it's a lot more people than most cities, especially it's a big black population. From like the Great Migration North and all of that stuff, from like the Mississippis and the Arkansas and the Louisianas. Like Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit, it was all kind of those resting places. So it's a very big black population in Chicago. And just recently, a guy that is what you can define as crazy, probably homeless, I'm guessing, and as well had 45 or 47 arrests in this, actually burned a woman on the subway alive. On the train alive. So let's watch a video from Fox quick, and then I'll give my thoughts on it.
On fire aboard a Chicago train is due back in court today. He faces a federal terrorism charge. His name is Lawrence Reed. He has been arrested more than 4 dozen times, 9 of those times for felonies, according to local outlets. But he was released in August for aggravated battery with just an ankle monitor. Paul Morrow is a Fox News contributor, former NYPD inspector, and of course an attorney. How does someone like this, that has this rap sheet, okay, I understand people that want to be reformers. I used to be one. Yeah. But when you got, a rap sheet like a CVS receipt, yeah, it's time to keep him behind bars, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really is, especially when you consider that he had the ankle bracelet on and he was in violation of the terms of the ankle bracelet. What good is the bracelet if nobody's monitoring it, right? So obviously that's all just fluff. Look, the bottom line here is this, and I constantly make this point whenever I can. There's a small segment of society. We're not talking, excuse me, about coming down like a ton of bricks on everybody who runs afoul of the law, all right? We're talking about a specific segment of society that, were we to finally recognize they are incorrigibles, perhaps due to mental illness. I get that. They have to be, I'm sorry, they have to be isolated from the rest of society, not only for our sake, but for their own sake. And so what drives me crazy is that I just testified in the House Judiciary down in Congress on Blue City crime. And I went with all of these bipartisan hopes that I had policies laid out and statistics, stuff that we had done here in New York under Democrat administrations that not only brought down crime, brought down the incarceration rate. Nobody really wants to hear it, all right? The Democrats were holding up pictures of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein from 30 years ago. It was not a serious undertaking. And it's just the idea that we can just arrest ourselves out of all these problems is what they always go to. And that's not what cooler heads are proposing. There is a segment that needs help, and it would help us so that women are not set on fire on our subways.
Meanwhile, the mayor of Chicago is saying that it was isolated. Let's watch.
This is an isolated incident. I mean, I don't see this as some sort of trend. And again, the level of accountability that has to happen in this moment, I trust that the federal level will do its part.
Like, what is he talking about?
Isolated. First of all, we had the same thing in New York last year, right? Somebody who got set on fire. This is the kind of thing that, should shock the conscience anywhere. You know what he should do if he was being more mature and statesmanlike about this? I understand that he's against Donald Trump. He doesn't want Donald Trump to bring the feds there or the National Guard. But the feds have extended powers over our transportation systems, all right?
So I know this is a delicate topic for some people, and it's because it's a more of a survivor's guilt here, especially from black people, because I've dealt with this a lot in my life. Like, yes, I'm from Milwaukee, but I don't speak like the typical person you would hear in Milwaukee. So it's for many reasons. It does have a reason with the high school I went to, an environment I was in, and sports too. So I was, around different cultures and different people and different socioeconomic levels and all of that. But in Chicago, just like in Milwaukee, just like in Detroit, it's a class of people that we don't want to qualify and we don't discuss after high school. And people make jokes about it, but it's the IEP class. The intellectually deficient classes that people that we have in the major cities, and they become adults and they have kids, and I'm gonna speak later, a little bit later in this video, on the kids aspect of it, because I'm gonna show the video from the parents' response to those kids beating up their mom and her kids. It's a level that, like, they're not on the level intellectually of the average human. I say this in the most direct type way, like a clinical type way. It's a retardation of a lot of inner city culture, and it's in the trailer parks too. So people say, like, you just talking about black people. No, it's in the white trailer parks too. It's in every culture, but it's a segment that we like to ignore and act like. And the powers that be like to keep that class that way because, one, they're very easy to sway with simple messaging because they don't have critical thinking ability. Because I always sit and think, right? I grew up in the hood, like 53209, Atkinson Street, Atkinson and Capitol, Atkinson and Roosevelt, Atkinson and 27th Street, Hot Spot, all that. And my family's from that neighborhood. But I never really had I got to be out drilling mentality. When we were growing up, it was kids that was on that. Like, one of my best friends as a kid was on that. And then he would do that, and then he become hoop with us, and then, you know what I mean? But then once we got to about high school age, and it kind of made the drastic separation. And even I look back to him, it comes from his family life. It was his mama that was on it, that was in the streets. I don't even know if I ever met dog dad, but his uncle was, one of the cats in the neighborhood that would get drunk and get high and cause havoc and stuff. But, like, his mama was on it, and we was like close friends too. And in high school we kind of separated because that's when it got into the, like, level of, okay, this is getting real. Like, you gotta make your choice for both sides on that. But it's a level of, as I look at even his mama, it's a level of intellect that's just, if you are still engaging in, like, trivial shit, like, if you are fighting and willing to shoot and willing to do all that for trivial shit, what do I mean by trivial shit? Like, old girl was talking to her man, now she mad and she gonna go fight her, and, like, that's a disease, bro. Like, that's a level of human that I just can't connect with. And I'm starting to realize more and more that that's a bigger segment of society than the academically inclined black person wants to actually admit. And I'm one of the academically inclined. Like, I graduated my master's in spring. This spring, I got 2 classes left, and I graduated my master's in spring in community and organizational leadership. Like, so this is something that I study. It's not just a opinion or a random. I actually study this for a living. I do this for a living. I've been in social services for like 15 years. So it's not just like a random dude on the internet with a opinion. Like, this is a very, very researched and experience-driven opinion that I'm forming from what I've saw for the last 15 years and also what I studied on the academic side. And it does come down to the hierarchy of needs and all of that, and other needs aren't being met so that the academic side can't even take place. But we're going to play a video quick